The brave little bunny. Once upon a time, in a quiet meadow at the edge of a grand forest, there lived a tiny bunny named Benny. Benny was the smallest bunny in his family, with soft grey fur and big bright eyes that sparkled like the stars at night. He loved hopping around the meadow, nibbling on clover and playing hide and seek with his brothers and sisters. But there was one thing that made Benny different from the other bunnies. He was afraid of everything. He was afraid of the rustling leaves, the chirping crickets, and especially the deep, dark forest that loomed nearby. Benny's brothers and sisters loved to explore the edge of the forest, but Benny would always stay behind, watching from a safe distance. One day, as Benny was playing near the edge of the meadow, he saw a shadow stretching across the grass. The shadow was large and moved slowly, like a giant creeping through the forest. Benny's heart began to race and he quickly hid behind a bush, trembling with fear. He peeked out just enough to see the shadow move closer and closer until it stopped right in front of him. Benny squeezed his eyes shut, hoping the shadow would go away. But then he heard a gentle voice say, "Why are you hiding, little one?" Benny opened his eyes and saw a giant figure standing before him, but to his surprise it wasn't a monster or a dangerous creature. It was a large, gentle deer with soft brown eyes and a kind smile. "Don't be afraid," the deer said. "My name is Delilah. I'm just passing through the meadow on my way to the forest." Benny felt a little braver and stepped out from behind the bush. "I'm Benny," he said softly. "I've never been in the forest before. It's so dark and scary." Delilah lowered her head to Benny's level and smiled. "The forest may seem dark, but it's also full of wonders. Would you like to come with me and see for yourself? I promise I'll keep you safe." Benny hesitated. His heart was still pounding, but he could see the kindness in Delilah's eyes. Taking a deep breath, Benny nodded. "Okay," he said, "but only if you stay close." And so Benny and Delilah set off into the forest together. At first, Benny was scared. The trees were tall and cast long shadows, and the sounds of the forest were strange and unfamiliar. But with Delilah by his side, Benny began to feel a little braver. As they walked deeper into the forest, Benny noticed things he had never seen before. He saw fireflies dancing in the air, lighting up the dark paths with their soft glow. He heard the gentle song of the wind as it whispered through the leaves. And when they reached a small clearing, Benny gasped in amazement. The clearing was filled with flowers that glowed in the moonlight, their petals shimmering like silver. "Wow," Benny whispered. "This is beautiful." Delilah smiled. "You see, Benny? The forest isn't so scary after all. Sometimes the things that frighten us the most can turn out to be the most wonderful if we're brave enough to face them." Benny nodded, feeling a warmth in his heart that he had never felt before. He had faced his fear of the forest and discovered a world of beauty and wonder that he never knew existed. From that day on, Benny wasn't afraid of the forest anymore. He would often explore its paths with Delilah, discovering new wonders with each adventure. And whenever he felt a little scared, he would remember the lesson he had learned, that true bravery isn't about never being afraid. It's about being afraid and doing it anyway. And so Benny the little bunny became known as the bravest bunny in the meadow. He might have been small, but his courage was as big as the forest itself. The end. Always remember, my friends, bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's the strength to face it.